Right, so we're back. And ready to really dive deep into Silo 7-2. Fair warning, though, massive spoilers ahead, obviously. So if you haven't finished it, this is your cue to, pause and come back when you're all caught up. We're talking everything, all the big twists, all those crazy reveals. Like, did you catch that thing with Solo? I mean, is he even really who he says he is? And those lines on the map leading to, like, IT and judicial, are the silos actually connected? Oh, man, so much to unpack.
Yeah, this season definitely didn't waste any time. Right from the start, Silo 18 was like a powder keg ready to blow. You could feel the tension, and then boom, Judge Meadows is dead.
Yeah, it was so shocking. Like, things went from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. And it wasn't just a, tragic death. It was like a turning point. Suddenly, everyone's looking mechanical. They're the scapegoats. Everyone's ready to blame them.
And then talk about a frame job. Knox and Shirley get pinned for the murder. I mean, whoever's behind it, they're playing chess, not checkers, turning the whole silo against them. Knox and Shirley are public enemy #1.
It's like they're living in a nightmare. Imagine being accused of something you didn't do, and everyone believes it. And then their escape. Oh, man, talk about edge of your seat. I was holding my breath that whole episode.
Desperate times, desperate measures, right? They had no choice. Carla, wow, her saying goodbye to Martha, that was rough, but it shows you just how high the stakes were. And the escape itself, I mean, a banned descender rig to get past the barricade. Talk about risky.
They literally jumped down the side of the silo.
Yeah, crazy, right? But it worked, somehow.
And then you've got the Sims family. Their whole storyline is like a tangled mess of power and secrets.
Yeah.
Sims gets promoted to judge, but it's so obvious that Bernard's calling the shots. He's pulling the strings. He's basically taking away Sims' real power, keeping him close but under his thumb.
Classic power play, right? Keep your enemies closer. Bernard, I mean, you can practically feel his paranoia. He wants to control everything and everyone. It makes you wonder, what's driving him? Why is he so obsessed with power?
And then you've got Camille working in the shadows. It's hard to know what she's up to.
Yeah.
She helps Knox and Shirley escape, then she blackmails a plumber to hide them. Is she just, genuinely concerned? Or is there a bigger plan here?
Camille is a tough one to figure out. She's like an enigma. On the surface, she's the loyal wife, but her actions, they tell a different story. She's got connections, influence, and she's not afraid to use them. Is she setting Sims up to take over from Bernard? Maybe. She's definitely a player in this game.
And then there's Dr. Nichols. He's really struggling, years of being forced to do things he knows are wrong.
He's lost his family, his moral compass. It's like he's lost himself. Imagine being forced to do these unethical procedures just to stay alive, to protect the people you care about. Like pretending to remove birth control implants, that's messed up. That's a heavy burden to carry.
Yeah, and it really shows you that, impossible choices these characters have to make. But he finally stands up to Bernard, refuses to return Juliette's things. It's a small act of defiance, but it's something.
It's like he's finding his voice again, a spark of resistance in this system that's designed to crush you. That confrontation with Bernard was intense. He's not just broken anymore. He's starting to fight back.
And speaking of fighting back, we have to talk about Billings and Hank, our new detective duo. They're both so different, but they're both determined to uncover the truth.
Definitely an odd couple, right? You've got Billings, struggling with syndrome in secret, and Hank, trying to play by the rules. But they share this, drive to get to the bottom of things, to figure out what's really going on.
Billings' situation, it's pretty intense. He's got this secret that could get him banished, but he's still willing to risk everything. And then there's Patrick Kennedy, the fugitive. He shows up, and it's clear he knows more than he's letting on.
Patrick's a total wild card. He's seen things, been places most people in the silo can't even imagine. He could hold the key to everything, but can he be trusted? What are his motives?
Billings showing him the page from the burned book, that was a huge risk, a real leap of faith.
It's a gamble, for sure. Puts them both in danger. But also, it might be the only way to expose the truth. This alliance, it's fascinating. It could bring the whole thing crashing down. But it's a tightrope walk. It's a high-stakes game they're playing, no doubt about it. But someone's got to do it. The truth, it's buried deep. It's going to take a lot to dig it out.
And then there's Juliette, stuck in Silo 17, with Solo. At first, he seemed okay, like a decent guy, helpful neighbor. But there was always something, something off about him. And then, bam, we find out he's not who he claims to be.
Total shocker, right? You think you know someone, and then wham, everything you thought you knew, it's gone. That photo, his reaction, it all screams, I'm hiding something big.
What happened to the real Cole Myers, right?
Yep.
And what is Solo hiding? That whole outburst when Juliette confronted him, it was genuinely scary.
He's desperate, clearly, wants to keep his secrets buried. And the more we learn about him, the more suspicious it gets.
And we can't forget about the flood races. Silo 17, the water's rising. It's a race against time to fix that pump. It's a reminder that even underground, nature, it can still mess you up.
They're living on borrowed time, that flood. It's a ticking time bomb. Adds a whole other layer of tension to everything.
And Juliet's arm, it's getting worse, and no one knows what it is. Like another mystery on top of everything else.
It's a reminder, a constant one, that the silo, it's not safe. Even a small injury, it can have huge consequences.
It all feels connected, right? This stuff in Silo 18, Juliet's situation in 17, and Lucas, all those clues he's finding. Speaking of Lucas, he's busy deciphering that hard drive, working for Bernard, and he's made some pretty big discoveries.
Lucas, he's like a detective piecing it all together bit by bit. That map he found, the lines connecting to IT and judicial, and then that tunnel, whoa.
It has to mean the silos are connected, right? But how?
Yeah.
And what for? It's like we peeled back another layer of the onion.
We're just scratching the surface of this conspiracy, I think. What are they moving between silos? Information, resources, people. Who knows? The possibilities are, well, they're endless.
And that love letter, the coded one, it seems like a small thing, but it could be a huge clue.
Every piece matters. Every detail, it's like a giant puzzle. That love letter, maybe it's the missing piece, the one that helps us see the whole picture.
It's almost like they're all living in some giant experiment, and they're the test subjects.
It's a chilling thought, but, I mean, is it that far-fetched? What's the silo's real purpose? Who built it, and why? So many questions.
This season, wow, it's been a roller coaster. So many twists, so many turns. And it really makes you think about information, how powerful it can be. Remember Meadows? She was trying to expose the truth, and then she's murdered.
Her death, it changed everything. It showed just how far they'll go to protect their secrets. Knowledge in the silo, it's dangerous, especially if it threatens those in power.
Makes you wonder how much of what they believe is actually true, the pack, the rules, the history. Is it all just like a fabrication?
It's the question that haunts them, right? They're searching for the truth in a world built on lies.
And Bernard, he's at the center of it all. He's the puppet master, pulling the strings, controlling the narrative. But even I think he might be a pawn in a bigger game.
He's the puppet master, but who's pulling his strings? It feels like there's someone or something even more powerful lurking in the shadows.
It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know something bad is coming, but you can't stop it. But there's hope, right?
Well,
People like Knox and Shirley, Billings and Hank, even Dr. Nichols, they're fighting back.
they're the rebels, the ones who refuse to accept the lies. They might be outnumbered, outgunned, but they're not giving up. They're inspiring.
And Juliette, she's trapped, but she's not giving up either. She's tough, she's resourceful.
She's a survivor through and through. Even when everything's falling apart around her, she finds a way. She's not some damsel in distress. She's a force to be reckoned with.
I can't wait to see what happens next. This season has been masterclass in suspense. The writers, they've kept us guessing, kept us on the edge of our seats the whole time.
Every episode's like, bam, another curveball. You think you're figuring it out, and then they flip the script. It's the kind of show you just want to binge. You can't stop watching.
We've seen the dark side of the silo, the power, the secrets, the lies. We've seen courage, betrayal, sacrifice. It's more than just a show. It's like a reflection of us, you know?
It makes you think about the choices we make, what we do to protect the ones we love. Where do you draw the line? How far would you go for the truth? It's a lot to think about.
It's a story that stays with you. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about the world.
And it leaves you wanting more. So many unanswered questions. What's going to happen to Knox and Shirley? What's Camille's endgame? Will Juliette escape solo? And those tunnels, what secrets are they hiding? Man, this season has been wild, and I have a feeling the next one it's going to be even crazier.
The Silo, it's the kind of show that keeps you guessing. It's a game of cat and mouse, and we're all dying to know who wins. I think we're in for even more twists. The writers, they've shown they're not afraid to take risks. They'll definitely have some surprises up their sleeves.
It's a show that sparks debate, you know? Everyone's trying to piece it together, trying to figure out the big picture.
It's like we're all obsessed, trying to make sense of this world, this crazy, complex world.
And that's what makes it so good, right? It's not just entertainment. It's an experience. It makes you think. It makes you talk. It messes with your head.
This season, it's been amazing. The storytelling, the characters, it's left us wanting more, desperate for answers. It reminds us that the truth, it's out there, somewhere, waiting to be uncovered.
The silo, it sticks with you. It challenges you, makes you question everything you thought you knew, makes you think about what it means to be human.
It makes you wonder, what's next for these characters? They're all at a crossroads facing these impossible choices.
It's like the writers have woven this intricate web. It's hard to know where they'll go next, but I have a feeling it's going to be, oh, it's going to be explosive.
I'm worried about Knox and Shirley going back to Down Deep. That place is dangerous, and now they've got a target on their backs.
They're symbols now, symbols of resistance, and that makes them a threat to Bernard, to the whole power structure. They're going to need to be smart. They're going to need to rally people to their cause if they want to survive.
And Camille, what's she going to do next? Is she an ally? An enemy?
Yeah.
She's playing both sides. It's impossible to know where her loyalties lie.
She's a master manipulator, that's for sure. Always a step ahead. I bet she's got a plan, but what is it?
I wouldn't want to cross her. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty.
She's a survivor, like Juliette, but she's more ruthless, willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants.
Speaking of Juliette, I'm really worried about her. Stuck in Silo 17 with Solo, who's obviously not who he says he is. And her arm, it's getting worse.
She's in a bad spot, isolated, vulnerable. Her trust has been broken, and she's running out of options.
I hope she can escape, get back to Silo 18, but with the flood and Solo's secrets, it's going to be a tough road.
She's going to need every ounce of strength and resilience. She's got to make it out of this.
And those secret tunnels, what do you think they're for?
I think those tunnels are going to be huge next season. I think they might hold the key to the whole thing, the silo's true purpose.
Maybe they connect to other silos, other communities. Who knows?
Or maybe they lead to something even darker, something we haven't even imagined yet. It's kind of creepy.
The possibilities, they're endless. That's what makes this show so great.
It keeps you guessing, keeps you hooked.
This season, it's been a journey, full of twists and turns. It's left us with more questions than answers. But that's part of the fun, right?
We're hooked. We need to know what happens next.
We've talked about the power struggles, the mysteries, the choices these characters have to make. But at its heart, Silo, it's a story about hope.
Even in the darkest times, there's always someone fighting for something better.
Fighting for truth, for justice, for freedom.
And that's a message that speaks to everyone, I think.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Silo Season 2. We want to hear your thoughts, your theories, so leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the worlds we love. It makes you think, right, what happens next? Where do they go from here? They're all at these crossroads, so many impossible choices.
Yeah, the writers have done such a good job, like setting up all these different threads. It's hard to predict where they'll go next, but I have a feeling it's going to be intense.
I'm kind of worried about Knox and Shirley, going back to the Down Deep. It's like walking into the lion's den, and they've got a target on their backs.
They're not just criminals anymore. They're symbols, symbols of resistance, and that makes them dangerous, a threat to Bernard and his whole power structure. They're going to have to be really smart, really careful, and they're going to need to find allies, people who believe in what they're fighting for if they want to stand a chance.
And Camille, what's her play? Friend, foe. I mean, she's been playing both sides this whole time. It's impossible to tell where her loyalties lie.
She's definitely playing the long game, always thinking a few steps ahead. I bet she's got a plan, a whole scheme mapped out, but what is it?
Yeah, she's not someone I'd want to mess with. She's not afraid to use whatever means necessary to get what she wants.
She's a survivor, just like Juliette, but, well, Camille's got a harder edge. She's willing to cross lines that Juliette wouldn't, I think.
Speaking of Juliette, I'm really worried about her being trapped in Silo 17 with Solo, who's obviously not who he says he is. And her arm is just getting worse and worse.
It's a bad situation. No way around it. She's isolated, vulnerable, and Solo, well, he's clearly got his own agenda, and it's not good.
I hope she can escape, find a way back to Silo 18, but with the flood and Solo's secrets, it's not going to be easy.
She's going to need to be tough, resourceful. She's going to have to dig deep and find that inner strength, that resilience, if she wants to survive.
And those secret tunnels, those lines on the map, what do you think they're for?
I think those tunnels are going to be huge in the next season. I think they're the key to the whole thing. The silo's real purpose, why it was built, what it's all for.
Maybe they connect to other silos, other communities, like a whole network underground.
Or maybe they lead to something even more sinister, something we haven't even considered yet. It's kind of scary to think about, the possibilities.
The possibilities are endless. That's what makes the show so good. It keeps you guessing, keeps you thinking.
It's not just entertainment. It's like a puzzle, a mystery you want to solve. And you want to talk about it. You want to share your theories with other people.
This season, it's been a wild ride. So many twists, so many turns. It's left us with more questions than answers. But I don't know, that's kind of what makes it so good. It keeps you coming back for more.
We're hooked, that's for sure. We need to know what happens next. We need those answers.
We've talked about the power struggles, the mysteries, the moral dilemmas, the choices these characters have to make. But underneath it all, I think Silo is a story about hope, about fighting for something better.
Even when everything seems lost, when the odds are stacked against you, there's always someone willing to stand up, to fight for what's right, for a better future.
Fighting for truth, for justice, for freedom, for each other.
And that's a message that resonates with everyone, I think. It's something we can all connect to.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into Silo Season 2. It's been a blast talking about this show. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your theories, so leave a comment below and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the shows and movies we love. Until next time, keep watching, keep thinking, and keep those theories coming.